Hi, this is Dr. Mary Gillam. I just wanted to talk to you today about the process that I kind of use when I go to prepare a speech. Well, as many of you may know, I'm the local host of the television show called Leadership Table Talk. And when I grew up, I actually was not afraid to speak in front of audiences and things like that. I think it was just something that was natural for me. And as I was growing up, I did plays not only in my church, but in school, in high school. I competed for the student body and I won positions, on the student body and stuff like that. And so in order to do that, you had to give speeches. I not only served on the student body in high school, but also in college as well. And so I was, to me, already being prompt to be able to give presentations, and then having spent almost 30 years in the military and then in other senior capacities after that, it was very important for me to know how to give presentations and stuff. But one thing that I do remember, when I was in the military as a very young officer, and I had to give a presentation for the first time in front of one of our senior leaders. And so what I did was I put together my presentation, but I also took the time to go into the conference room that I was going to be giving the presentation in, and I actually practiced in the venue that I would be presenting in. And so I got a chance to just really familiarize myself with the location and everything. And I've done that on many occasions where the opportunity availed itself to me. And so, but when it comes down to giving a presentation, and some of the things that I do right off the bat, when I'm dealing with the requester, I always want to know, well, what are your objectives? What is it that you want the audience to walk away from this presentation having learned? And I want to make sure I nail that down, because I don't want to not deliver what they are looking for. And then I also ask a little bit about the background of the audience. Who am I talking to? Am I talking to professionals who know the subject inside and out, maybe better than me? Or am I talking to a range of people who may go from A to Z on this particular topic? Because I don't want to miss what it is that they want me to present. And then, I'm interested in what the audience, care about. Why is this important to them? Is it part of training, or is it something that they are very concerned about? Because, when you're presenting to people and it's just a part of a training requirement, they may or may not be interested in what you have to say. And in those kind of dynamics, I try to make sure that I incorporate things that will draw them into the presentation so that it is of importance to them, regardless of its training. Because I remember one time when I was presenting over at Joint Base Anacostia Bowling, and I was actually doing a training presentation. But one of the things that I did was use a tool that I actually invented myself, and it was called the Leadership Build Zone. And although it's a board game, it's actually a training tool that I use to help educate people on the dynamics of leadership and team building. And I've used it around the country in terms of helping people to grow their teams. And so I started out with that, and then that led into the presentation. And so now I've drawn the people in, and it's like, oh, wow, because they were like, okay, tell us more about this, tell us more. And that's what you want to come out of a presentation. You want people to be longing for more, because they're interested in what you have to say, whether they're going to come and talk to you afterwards, or if it's a book that you are talking about and they want to purchase your book. But whatever it is, you want to be able to draw them in to the conversation. And because, as I'm presenting, I want to tap into the audience by looking at them, paying attention to them to see if they're, following what I'm saying, or is it look like they're confused. And then I want to try to attack that if I can with the presentation. Like I like to incorporate stories, but I want the stories to be relevant. And I don't want the presentation to be just full of stories and no substance. Oh no, you don't want that. You want to make sure that your presentation resonates with those that you are presenting to. And so that's why it's very important that you know know things about your audience as best you can, because sometimes there's no way you could do that. And so when you're working with the requester who has actually hired you to come in, you want to make sure that you understand as much as you can about the audience that you're going to be presenting to, and why they are expecting you to give the kind of presentation that you're presenting, because hopefully they know enough about your background that they are, you'll be able to tap into what their audience needs. And for me, whenever I'm giving a presentation, I want to always make it a value add. I do, because I know what it's like to sit in on a meeting or sit in on a presentation, and then it's like, well, why did I even waste my time? So I try to make sure that my presentations align with what the audience is looking for, based off the name of the conference. If it's a conference that I'm going to or presenting at, well, I need to understand the dynamics of that conference, so that what I'm presenting really aligns with what the people are expecting. And that is just a couple of tips on how I present. And again, this is Dr. Mary Gillam, host of the local television show Leadership Table Talk. I'll see you again next time. Bye bye for today.